Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our live session today where we talk about cancer and sleep. So, hopefully, everything is well. Everyone can see me, can hear me, and things have been well. So, joining me, I'm Jefferson, by the way. I'm Jefferson, a clinical psychologist from NCSMKL, and joining me today will be Kai. Yes, thank you. Hi, Kai, joining me for today. Right, how are you being, Kai?
I feel very tired today, to be honest.
Right. Good thing that after today we'll be talking about sleep, right? So after that, maybe you can, try to have better sleep today and get a well rested one. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So I think our slides are coming up. Right. Okay. So today we'll be again welcome Kai for joining us today, and she'll be one of the speaker. And me myself will be talking about cancer and sleep as well. So as again our topic is cancer and sleep, we'll be talking about the relations, the disturbance, and tips to better sleep. Right. So before we move forward, um, our webinar is actually we preach for interactions between our audiences. So feel free to put your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you have any questions along the webinar as well, feel free to comment in the comment section for us to address at the end of the webinar, right? So hold your horses, we will address them once we are in the Q&A session, right? So for today, what we will cover, first of all, we'll cover about how to understand the mechanism and the importance of sleep. So then moving forward, we'll understand how sleep quality may be impacted during the cancer journey. And as well, we'll get to learn some tips on managing sleep difficulties and also practicing good sleep hygiene as well. So by knowing this, and now at time of about sleep, getting ready to sleep, so we're able to get some benefits from it. So now let's go in. So why do we sleep? So this is a very a question that we don't usually ask ourselves, right? So why do we sleep? We do it every single day, right? We do it every single day for 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours, but why do we actually sleep? So there is actually a biological reason behind the mechanism of sleep, which we'll be talking about. And if we put sleep like it's like an analogy, right? Sleep is like a street lamp with a timer. So the sleep or cycle resets every day, and this is being regulated by the circadian rhythm. So while a street lamp relies on a timer to turn on and off, we humans actually rely on the circadian rhythm to stay awake and fall asleep. So, in simpler terms, the circadian rhythm is like our body's internal biological clock. It's like our body timer. So, it knows when to stay awake, or when to fall asleep and get rest. So this circadian rhythm in our body actually works on a cycle of 24 hours. So our body is actually intelligent to know that we body right. Okay. So, and the cycle actually continues with the same rhythm and pattern every single day, unless it is being disrupted by external factors, which I will go into later on. And it's so important to note that the circadian rhythm controls the biological reaction towards wakefulness and rest. It's not only towards sleep. Right. So although circadian rhythm actually controls or regulates sleep, but it also regulates other bodily function as well. So here we are going into more detail. So in our next slide, we will talk about how circadian rhythm controls the physical and chemical reactions in our body. So the physical, let's talk about the physical reaction first. So the physical reactions includes bodily digestion and body temperature. So during the day, the body actually knows when it's time to activate the digestive systems and get ready for the food we're about to take every day. And that is why our stomach actually rumbles every morning when we get up from bed. So when we wake up, the circadian rhythm in our body starts to activate our mouth to produce saliva, to hydrate our mouth for getting ready for food. And our stomach actually wants food during that time. And our intestine actually begins its work in digestion, where we have our sunny side out with toast and coffee for breakfast. And in terms of our body temperature, our body temperature will also begin to rise, signaling that the organs in the body are actually starting their day at work, like how we clock in when we begin our work. So our body temperature begin to rise as well. On the other hand, during nighttime, our circadian rhythm actually signals our body to clock out from work and get ready to rest. So our body actually slows down digestion and other vital organs, resulting in a much cooler body temperature during sleep. So now you know that why you feel cold when we are sleeping, other than turning on our air conditioning at night, right? So now moving on to the chemical reaction. So our body actually produces important hormones for our body to function throughout the day, and it has been regulated by the circadian rhythm. For example, like our body produces cortisol during stressful periods. So one important hormone in our body to control our sleep is actually melatonin. So you maybe have heard of melatonin, like some of the supplements that you can take. So the production of melatonin is actually responsive to darkness and will start as soon as darkness comes. So when the sun starts to set and the darkness starts fading in, our body will automatically produce melatonin. So it's actually a natural hormone in our body. And when the melatonin level slowly increases throughout the night, our body will start feeling sleepy. And the higher the level of melatonin, the greater our feeling of sleepiness. So throughout the night, melatonin production peaks between 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. and eventually stops production. And it's when our body will start to slowly wake up. Right? So moving on to the next slide, the second rhythm is actually highly influenced by light. So the exposure to sunlight actually tells our body that it's daytime. It signals us to be awake and to be active, like how a rooster actually starts to cluck, in the glimpse of a sunlight. So in opposite, when the day starts to get darker, it actually tells our body that okay, it's time to sleep. It's nighttime already, and then the melatonin starts to produce, and it signals us to rest and to sleep. So, what other factors can actually affect our circadian rhythm? So, light, as we have mentioned earlier, like light has a very important function in the melatonin production. So, other than light, stress level is also a factor affecting our circadian rhythm. So, when we are in high stress, our body actually activates our fight or flight mode. So, we are agitated. Our body is getting ready to face the stress. So that's when our body are still active and we are not ready to sleep yet. Or during stress mode, we will have preoccupations of thoughts. Our thoughts will be running around our mind, so that will actually stop us affect our circadian rhythm as well. So food intake before sleep, taking caffeine or any body stimulating drugs can actually affect our circadian rhythm as well, because caffeine can actually start the stress reaction in our body and will keep on going, and it actually stops and it disrupts the circadian rhythm. So, in lastly, the medical condition actually has great effect on our circadian rhythm as well. So, for example, pain, nausea, or fatigue can actually affect our circadian rhythm, right? So next, why is sleep important? What are the benefit of sleep? So sleep can actually affect us in many ways. So as our next slide can illustrate here, body repairing. So during sleep is when our body finally have the time to repair whatever damages have been done throughout the day. So during the day, right, our body has been busy with other vital actions, and during sleep, it's time to recover. So our cells, our tissues that have been damaged will eventually be slowly repaired during sleep. And so wounds can actually repair better when we have sufficient sleep. So other than repairing work, our body also prepares and get ready for more damages through recovery and the boost of our immune system. So our white blood cells and other cells important in the immune system actually get replenished during rest. And so when someone asks you to rest when you are sick, like how I'm resting today, I'm having sniffles today. So resting can actually better help you to promote your immune system to face off um, whatever sick or illnesses that you're experiencing. Right, next is brain processing. So similar to the body, our brain has been busy throughout the day processing thousands, if not millions, of information daily. So during our sleep, our brain actually still continues to work actually, but it's focused on reorganizing the information and later storing them as memory. So our brain actually is like filing those information one by one, bring them to categories. And lastly, is it boosts our energy. We all know that how um, sleeping can actually boost our energy, right? So that is why sleep is important for us to function on the next day. So how can sleep affect cancer, and how cancer can in another way affect sleep as well? So throughout the cancer care continuum in the next slide, so many studies has actually highlighted that persons with cancer commonly struggle with their sleep. So for some people, the sleep disturbances may begins even before receiving the diagnosis of cancer, and would eventually persist throughout the trajectory of the illness, even when the person had survived the illness. And during each stage of the cancer care continuum, sleep disturbance may arise during various reasons and may have different presentation of sleep disturbances as well. And it does not only affect cancer patients and cancer survivors, it affects cancer caregiver as well. So let's look further into what are the common cancer-related factors in the next slide. Yes, right. So first of all, fear and anxiety. We have known that how cancer can actually stimulate the fear, stimulate stimulate fear and stimulate the anxiety, right? We are always afraid of the unknown or even afraid of the cancer coming back, right? So these can actually stimulate the stress responses in us as well. So next, pain. So cancer is a struggle with cancer. Right? Pain always comes together with cancer, and pain can actually affect our sleep, where we so painful that we couldn't sleep well, we couldn't even fall asleep, right? So difficulty in coping with cancer as well can actually affect our circadian rhythm, affect our sleep quality as well. And this does not only affect persons with cancer. The caregivers has a great impact in this as well. So lastly, psychosocial issue. We have known that how cancer can bring so much of struggle, so much of disturbance in terms of psychosocial, in terms of finance, in terms of other factors that may relate to us in the cancer journey, right? So after knowing what can cause sleep disturbance, let's now better understand what may result from a poor sleep hygiene or poor sleep patterns or the lack of sleep. right? So the impact of sleep disturbance can be summarized to three different impact. First of all is the impact in our physical health. So poor sleep or even the lack of sleep has been linked to chronic health issues, including heart diseases, high blood pressure, increasing the risk of stroke, and also obesity. So, in terms of cancer, however, people may experience poorer response to the cancer treatment. They may experience increasing level of pain, and also studies have shown that poor sleep has been associated with longer hospital stays. So next is cognitive processing. So lack of sleep, even less than the optimal amount of sleep, can actually reduce our level of alertness towards any stimulation throughout the day. And also been associated with longer attention span. So we can actually see that in our daily life when we do not have enough amount of sleep. We have lower attention span, we couldn't pay attention, we couldn't focus, we couldn't concentrate. So there is a scientific evidence that shows that, and also decline in memory as well. And in terms of mental health issues, poor sleep or lack of sleep can actually affect our mood regulation. We have poorer mood regulation where we have more anger outbursts. You tend to get more aggressive, more agitated, more frustrated, even to a slight level of stress. And we have a greater sensitivity towards stress as well, right? So now let's move on to how we can better improve our sleep by knowing what sleep hygiene is. So this can be better explained by my colleague here, Kai. So Kai, pass the floor to you.
Thank you, Jefferson, for the interesting topic. And now I'd like to address that what is sleep hygiene? Okay, so we heard about sleep hygiene, we heard about mental hygiene, we heard about a lot of hygiene in our life. Just like mental hygiene refers to like some of the activities, some of the supports that can help to maintain our mental health. For sleep hygiene, it refers to some of the healthy habits, your behavior, in terms in regards to your medical, emotional, or any actions, with also the environment factor that can be adjusted, that can be changed to help you to have a good night's sleep. So moving to the next slide, we'll be going to talk about what is the poor sleep habits. So I will talk about the behavioral part first. So some of the sleeping problem are quite often caused by the bad sleep habit that we enforce for like over years and even decades. And one of the poor sleep habits that we can talk about is non-active lifestyle. Sorry, meaning that some of the people is quite not really like active in terms of exercising or moving. So it may be indirectly or quite directly contribute to poor sleeping habits. And next will be excessive napping, like they're taking too long naps or maybe just like 1 or 2 hours. It may diminish their ability to sleep at night. And next will be the caffeine, alcohol, fully intake before their bedtime. So the caffeine intake that I mentioned is like, for example, like coffee, tea, soda pop, or any food or chocolate. It's work as we call it as a stimulant to keep a person awake for hours. And the next will be some of the stimulating activity prior to bedtime. I think this is one of the habit that I'm having now, which is I like to use phone before I sleep. Even when I close the light already, I'm still playing my foot inside my blanket and all that. Yeah. So some of us used to use our bedroom and our bed as a multi-purpose room. We fill our bedroom with like televisions, gaming system, computers, telephones, and any other gadgets. But unfortunately, none of these will actually help us to like sleep better. And the light off screen may be harmful to sleep, and using them just prior to bed will prompt your brain to be quite active. So I do experience once that there's quite a few times I tend to play phone inside my blanket. Then I realized that the screen is too light, I would say that, too bright, and I can't fall asleep anymore. Yeah, so this sleeping habit is quite poor and it could affect our sleep cycles that Jefferson have mentioned just now. And now I would like to talk about some of the poor sleeping habits that in regards to the environmental factor. So first of the environment factor might be the background noise, and where sometimes you may hear certain sounds or the car pass by or the motorcycle pass by, the background noise that might be happening. And next will be the temperature extreme. You're sleeping somewhere that is too cold, too warm, or it's like too extreme lah. Either too cold, either too warm. There's no middle boundaries at all. Okay. And next will be uncomfortable bedroom and your lighting as well. When your room is not dark and is too bright, it might affect your sleep as well. Okay. So next interesting part is coming. I will be talking about how to have a better sleep. Okay. So next, tips number 1, how to have a good sleep hygiene. Okay, remember, use your bed only for sleep and intimacy like sex. And it also can help to trigger for falling asleep faster. So just as like you may relate your kitchens or table where you eat with hunger, or you going to the movies with eating popcorn. So this guideline will help your body to relearn to associate your sleep with your bed and your bedroom. So try to avoid doing activity in your bed or bedroom that you do when you're awake, like the one I mentioned just now, like watching TV, talking on the phone, or using your tablet or laptop, or checking email, especially when you remember that, oh, there's something that you need to work on. Then you start to check your email, start to check your slides and all that. So try to avoid doing all these activities. If you really want to do it, maybe you will do out of your bedroom or out of your bed. Maybe you go to your table desk and all that. Try to avoid that. Okay. So next, tips number 2 is try to take at least 1 hour to unwind before bed. Okay. Actually, our brain is like not a light switch that you can like turn on and off. Okay, just like our emotions like that. Sometimes we may feel that it can be like turned on and off, but our brain actually is not a light switch that can turn on or turn off. So most of us cannot expect to go full speed. Like if you go to the bed at 10, then you easily to fall asleep at 10:30 p.m. Okay, so it helps to do something to wind down before your planned bedtime. Let's say maybe you plan to sleep at 11. Okay, so you take at least the 1 hour, which is 10 o'clock, to unwind before your bed. So one of the very effective way to unwind before bedtime is try to create a sleep routine. Okay, sleep routine are the things that you can do before the bed that can become a signal to your body and mind that it's time to wind down and sleep. Okay, so by doing this, you can have your own new sleep plan. Okay, I will give you some of the example of what are the new sleep plan that you can do, what are the activity that you can do that can put inside your sleep plan. There are things you can do to help yourself to relax before your bed outside of the bedroom is, for instance, you could watch a relaxing TV show, okay? But make sure that it's not inside your bedroom, but it's outside of your bedroom. And then you can listen to soothing music, okay? And read something that is quite calming, reading some books, and take a warm bath. And sometimes people are quite used to pray or meditate, and it's quite helpful to have very good sleep hygiene. So these are the activity that you can do. For environmental wise, there are also several things that you can do to cue your body and mind to rest by making your sleeping environment as soothing, as comfortable as possible. Okay, so for instance, you can try to dim the light, or maybe turn on a box fan if you feel it's too hot, and try to have some white noise machine, soft relaxing music, or light a scented candle, or spray some essential oil. But it still goes back to individual difference, as some of people might not feel that lighting a scented candle or spray some essential oil is helpful. Okay, it really depends on certain people. Like for me, essential oil not really helpful for me, but if I light a scented candle, it worked for me. Okay, so it's really individual difference lah. Okay, so the next habit helpful habit 3 is try to keep a regular schedule, sleep schedule, and stick to it. Okay, try to following a set bedtime and wake up time that will regulate your sleep-wake cycle, which can establish a healthy sleeping pattern and try to strengthen your circadian rhythm. Okay, try to also avoid going to bed too early, because each time if you go to bed too early, sometimes it's because of you didn't get enough of sleep as the previous night. You may be retraining your body to shift toward an early bedtime that's not really consistent with your established or desired sleep routine. So if your body is not ready to sleep, this will also set you up for long frustrating period of being awake in bed. Okay, and next will be try avoid sleeping in late. As if you sleep late, you are shifting your circadian rhythm later, and you're making you more difficult for you to fall asleep at your regular time that the next night. Okay, even if you have a bad night's sleep and are tired, it's important that you need to try to keep your daytime activity the same as you have planned. Okay, try not to avoid activity because you feel tired, because this might be reinforce the insomnia. Right, moving on to the next slide. Okay, helpful tips number 4: go to bed only when you are sleepy. If you are not sleepy, you will not fall asleep. So there's no reason to go to bed if you are not sleepy. If you're going to bed too early, it only gives you more time to become more frustrated and trying to fall asleep. And people often lay in the bed thinking about the event of the day, planning the next day's schedule, or worrying about the fact that they are not falling asleep. Okay, so thinking about such things just keep you awake and keep your insomnia going over time. Okay, so you need to stay out of bed until you are sleepy, and this may mean that you go to bed even later than your planned bedtime. Next, and tips number 5: get out of bed if you awake more than 15 minutes. So these 15 minutes rules help you to begin to fall asleep quicker over time by helping you to the bed become a trigger for sleep rather than a trigger for being awake and frustrated. So once you get up, try not to go back to bed until you are sleepy again. So most of the people, to be honest, when they can't fall asleep after 15 minutes, they will try to wash the clothes. So just estimate when about 15 minutes has passed and we still wash the clothes and thinking about, why I still can't fall asleep. I wish I can sleep now. And they start to getting anxious, start to getting worried, and start to think about it. And then this reinforces insomnia. So if you start to wonder if 15 minutes has passed, it's probably time to get up. Okay, and here's what you should do if you find yourself unable to sleep after 15 minutes. Like I said just now, get out of the bed and do something quiet and relaxing somewhere else, preferably outside of your bedroom. Avoid turning on bright lights or doing activity that will energize you, and return to your bed only when you're sleepy. Next, and the last tips is try to avoid naps. Naps can actually make your sleep rhythm worse and make it harder to go to sleep that night. And this is because that we have certain amount of sleep we need each day. Some of people might need 6 hours, like me, 6 hours. Some of people might need more than 6 hours, maybe 7 or 8 hours. This is called a sleep allowance or a sleep bank. So when you nap for longer than half an hour, you are taking sleep time out of your night time, that the sleep that you need. So this will make it harder to fall asleep at your bedtime or to stay asleep. So it's important to avoid nap if possible. And this rule will help your body to acquire a consistent sleep rhythm so that you feel drowsy and ready to sleep at about the same time each night. Okay, I'm not saying that you couldn't, it's like you couldn't take a nap, or you need to strictly avoid nap. If you really feel tired, yes, you can take a nap. We call it as power nap. Power nap means that you sleep not more than 20 minutes, meaning you choose the best timing. According to research, the best timing will be at around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. You try to take a power nap around 20 minutes. And after that, try to get active during times that you think you need to nap. And even if that just means like running stairs, going for a walk, or doing a minute of push-up, exercise basically. And this will increase your alertness and help you sleep better at night. Okay? I guess we still have certain 2 minutes. I think we can go through last of the tips of to better sleep. This is called 478 breathing, and this 478 technique is a relaxation exercise that involves breathing in for 4 counts, holding that breath for 7 counts, and exhaling for 8 counts. Normally, I will use this technique to teach my client who is having insomnia, who is having sleep issue, and although this 478 breathing, it does not really put you to sleep, but rather it may reduce the anxiety to increase the likelihood of falling asleep. Okay, so when you practice this 478 breathing technique, try to practice in a calm, quiet place. Could help. It could be at the bed, you're just lying down. It could be at your chair, you're just sitting and calm and quiet. And once you get the hang of it, you can use the technique when you lie in the bed, and not just bed, just like I mentioned, in the chair as well lah. Okay, as long as you are comfortable. Okay, and the step is, firstly, you completely exhale through your mouth and making a whoosh sound, and then you close your mouth and quietly inhale through your nose to a mental count of 4. Okay, stay for 4 count, and then after that, hold your breath for a count of 7. And if you realize that 7 is too long for you, you can cut down to 6 or 4, depending on your stamina. Okay. And lastly, exhale through your mouth and making a whoosh sound for the count of 8. And then after that, repeat the process 3 more times for the total of 4 breath cycles. And if you found that 3 times is too short, then maybe you can repeat one more time, another time, until you slowly falling asleep. Right? So next. Okay, so that's all for our sleep topic for today. And we do have an upcoming workshop. It's called Gateway to a Better Mental Health. And it will be on 25th, 26th, and 27th. Okay, the one you have seen in this poster, actually it's on 25th. It's for English English webinar. We were using English as a medium to talk about how to have a good how to improve your better mental health by using the mental health screening to screen about your mental health status, to see whether you reach certain level of distress. Okay, for 26 will be Mandarin webinar. We will use Chinese as a medium to speak about it. And for 25th, 26th, 27th, and 27 we will be using Malay as a medium to talk about this topic. All right, so if you are interested, try to scan the QR code, or our PR team will post the link into the comment, and you may register if you have time. So by clicking into this link, right, actually you can choose whether you want to go for English webinar, Mandarin webinar, or Malay webinar. All right, so next. So if you need any further support on your mental health, feel free to contact me or Jefferson for further help. And if you have questions on cancer, if you have questions on maybe financials on cancer related matters, or if you want to see a dietitian, you want to see play therapist, counselor, or peer support, or medical consultations, feel free to speak to us by dialing into 1800 and 1000, and you can email to help@cancer.org.my. Okay, so if you have things that is concern related to mental health, you can straight away contact either me or Jefferson. Right? So that's all for our webinar for today, and now we are open for Q&A. Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you so
Jefferson
much,
is
Kylie,
here.
for sharing. I think it's very beneficial, right, when we talk about like sleep hygiene, especially when people nowadays like us, right, we are so busy with stuff, and then you may not understand how to get a better sleep or understand the importance of sleep. I would say, right.
True. That's why I feel like when you talk about sleep, it quickly activates me because today, to be honest, I'm quite tired. Yeah. So
Yeah,
when
I
you
can
talk
see.
about sleep, I keep think of Okay, after this webinar, I need to sleep already. Yeah, it's trigger
Right, right.
me.
It's good that you are able to get enough sleep because I know that you're a person who, quite busy, right? So today,
Mm.
after this, you may need to practice all these tips to better sleep, right?
Yet, wow, we're so fast. We have the questions already.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
good, good.
Maybe I can read
Okay.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can read out the question. So this is a question
Okay.
for Lik Yong. Thank you so
Mm.
much, Lik Yong, for the question. So the question is, if we are more active at night, meaning a lack of melatonin. Okay, so
Hmm.
yeah, okay. I would say that depends on what do you mean by active at night, right? So active, is it like your body is still active, or your mind is still active, or you're actually doing things? And meaning a lack of melatonin, I wouldn't say a lack of melatonin because, as I mentioned, right, melatonin will eventually produce when the nighttime comes, right? So
Mm.
when our body feels that it's nighttime, our body will automatically produce melatonin. So
Mm.
if you're unable to, I'm guessing the question is that are we able to stay asleep at night when you're active, right? So I would say
Mm.
when we are active, our body actually produce other hormones, right? So like let's say you're actively doing exercises, right? So our body will produce those hormones that activates our body. And
Dopamine.
those hormones may actually
Mm.
like overtake the effect of melatonin. The melatonin will still be there because melatonin will be produced. Just that the effect of the melatonin will be overtaken by the effect of other hormones. Ha, 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 ha.
Mm.
So like some
Actually, I,
people, right, they will actually
mm,
exercise during the night, right?
mm,
So they still can. Some people will have difficulty sleeping. Like I think Kai have shared the nighttime routine is to try to not do those active exercises. So because active
mm,
exercises can actually produce those stimulants to our body and
mm.
stop, overtake the effect of melatonin. Lah.
Yeah. Hope we answer your questions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Wait, we have next questions already. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Can maybe I can read out and I
Okay,
have a
sure, go ahead.
question. Can these tips on good sleep hygiene replace sleeping pills?
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. So basically, for sleeping pills, right? Normally, in what circumstances that we will recommend clients to have sleeping pill is that when it impair when you're unable to sleep and it affect your daily life functioning and it affect your routine and your mood is not really stable and you cannot focus, you have some short-term memory loss and all that, then we will recommend you to see psychiatrist to get the sleeping pill. So I wouldn't say that um, good sleep hygiene replace the sleeping pill. It really depends.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Shabisa, you want to add on something?
Yeah, yeah, and I think
Mm,
like sleep because sleeping pill is a drug, right? So the
mm,
reaction of sleeping pill is a very chemical one, and
mm,
for sleep hygiene, like how Kaya shared, is very a behavioral one.
mm,
So both have their pros and cons, I would say, and one I wouldn't think one can replace another one. It just depends on how fast the reaction can be. Like those sleep hygiene that Kai shared, right? You may need time to actually develop the sleep routine, the feeling to
mm,
associate the things between sleep and the behavior. As sleeping
mm,
pills, as we know, the chemical reaction comes in, you will just eat and then you just go to sleep. So, of course, it wouldn't replace, and I think both of us would really much encourage you to really get
mm,
get medical opinion lah from your
mm,
physician, from this kind of psychiatrist to
mm,
get to really understand the
mm,
effect of sleeping pills.
mm. So hope we answer your questions. We
Yep.
have next question. Thank you for the tips. I used to practice some of the tips that you have shared earlier. However, I still have difficulty sleeping on some nights. What can I do in these sort of situations?
Hmm.
Okay.
Right, right. I think
Um,
it's a very good question. So
mm,
maybe Kai can go first.
sure. Okay. So you mentioned that you are practicing sleep hygiene, but at the same time you still have difficulty sleep on some nights. Actually, it's quite normal. Okay. A lot of people having this kind of difficulty sleeping on some nights, even though they are practice this sleep hygiene. So, what can you do in this situation is normally how I would teach my client is that if you not sure what are the trigger, what are the issues, maybe you can try to keep a sleep journal.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, sleep journal is some things that can help you to like keep track of how well you are sleeping, and you can identify any factors that might be helping or hurting your sleep. Yeah.
Mm,
So this is one of the tips. And another tips is that some of the reason it might be maybe the client, they doesn't know. Maybe they
mm,
have worried, maybe they have anxiety, okay?
mm,
But maybe they don't think this is a problem, this is a trigger, and they just think that, oh, I can't sleep. It could be this, and this. Okay. In these
mm,
kind of situations, I will recommend clients that you need to seek for professional help,
mm,
physicians or psychologists or psychiatrists, yeah, to
mm,
see if psychiatrists or sorry, to see if psychologists can help you to review some of the maybe unconscious things that you are worried about or you are anxious about.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
there anything? Mm,
I like the fact that how Kai
mm,
says shares that we need to find out the trigger of why we
mm,
couldn't sleep, because there are many thousands of factors that may affect our sleep, right? So what we need to do
mm,
is to find out that and tackle them. So
mm,
of course we can practice the sleep hygiene that Kai have shared, but if they doesn't really help you in a way, so it's now to look for the reason, the root cause of it. And also
mm,
like how Kai
mm,
shared that maybe there's some more underlying issue like your anxiety issues, your
mm,
stress level that may
mm,
eventually if affect your sleep qualities.
mm.
Mm-mm.
Jefferson, I should actually do agree on what you're saying. I always tell my client that we as a clinical psychologist or maybe counselor and all that, we have
Mm.
hundred, we have thousand, we have million of solution. We have
Yes, yes.
all the techniques,
Mm.
okay? But the thing is to help you to better manage your sleep, not just sleep actually,
Mm, mm,
anxiety, depressions, or any of the mood distress. If you can't find out the trigger, if you're unable to find out the reason, then it's
mm,
a bit hard for you to even like hard for you to continue the technique. It's like
mm, mm,
you try and then fail.
mm.
And then next time you ask for another technique, then
Yeah,
fail
yeah.
again.
Mm.
Right?
So are they like gonna like try for 1,000 times to look for the right one?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
So
like
it's
they're coming to the session, it's like keep asking, this solution doesn't work. Can you give me another? I
yeah,
experienced
yeah,
quite a few
yeah,
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a very effective way to get a solution also, right?
Yep.
So it's always all it involves like exploring what are
Mm.
things that is required, what the issue, the core issue lah. Mm.
True. Yeah.
Right.
So hope we
Okay.
answer your questions and thanks, Christina. And we have next questions already. Cancer
Mm-mm.
patients sleep normally disturbed by pain. What's the best way to tackle this other than painkiller?
Right, right. Okay,
Okay.
yes. And
Mm.
thank you, Jason Tan, for raising that very important issue now. Right.
Yep.
So yes, we acknowledge that pain actually affect us, not our people with cancer sleep patterns, right? So
Mm.
other than tackling using painkillers, what I can do is to what I would feel to do to my clients is that we help them to acknowledge the pain, and
Mm.
then we help them to be more aware of the pain. So you can feel like, it's kind of an irony. Why do I need to feel the pain
Mm.
when it's already painy, and then it can help to reduce sleep? So that's a reason for it. It's like how we practice mindfulness. So we
Mm.
acknowledging the pain, then we accept the pain, and then we let the pain go. Other than
Mm.
just thinking, oh, I'm in pain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain. So
Mm.
try to process the level of pain. And this requires therapy. It's not just say, okay, I need to process pain and that's all. So it requires a lot of work. So other than that, some of the relaxation techniques that Kai have shared, like 478 breathing, can be another acute symptom management, acute management for your pain as well. So let's say you are not accessible to any therapy at this moment, try to find things that relax yourself, put
Mm.
or relax from the pain, and hopefully
Mm.
that can help to elevate the level of pain as well.
Yep. And one of the technique that I learned last time is also progressive muscle relaxations. It's also helpful for you to
Mm, mm,
feel
mm,
relief on your pain.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
So if Jason, if you need the steps of how to do the progressive muscle relaxations, how to do a 478 breathing, I think the comment part already showed is that actually we have a booklet. It's called Relaxations Technique Coping with Cancer Treatment. So you can try to access our www.cancer.rg.my to get this booklet. And this booklet is involved of all the relaxations technique that you can use to calm your mind and to relax. Yeah.
mm,
So try to
yeah.
download and learn from it.
And also to echo from our booklet, we used to have a series of webinars also, right, previously to
Mm.
talk about in depth like how we actually
Yep.
practice them, and there are some demonstration as well. So feel free to browse around our social medias to
Mm.
look back on the webinars.
Yep. All
Okay.
right. So thank you, Jason Dan, for your questions. And now moving on to the next questions. So I will read out lah. So from Fanico, is sleep quality considered poor if patients wake up once or twice to pass urine over the night?
Hmm.
Hmm. It will.
Okay.
It's quite depends, right?
Hmm. 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 Because
Mm.
many things can actually affect urine discharge lah, right? Because
Mm.
especially when you're talking about cancer patient, right? So it depends on many factors, like
Mm.
depends on the type of cancer, depend of the treatment that they are going through. So would you think that it's a poor sleep quality when it comes to this guy?
Mm. I would say it's quite optional
Mm-hmm.
because for me, uh, even I'm not a patient,
Mm,
but sometimes I do will wake up to pass my urine, maybe
mm,
once.
mm,
And then if I make sure that I can sleep back very well, I don't consider it as poor sleep quality.
mm,
But
mm,
if wake up passing urine
mm.
disrupt my sleep, which I'm unable to sleep, then I think yes, it affect. Yeah, how
Yes,
do you
yes,
think?
yes. Yeah, I have the same thought as well because
Mm,
anyone can actually wake up in the middle night to pass urine, or even you
mm,
are like you're too cold. Because in my occasion, I will wake up in the middle night because I'm too cold, although I have turned on the aircon, so the irony is that. So if I can actually sleep back later on when I wake up within a short minute of time, then I would say
mm,
the sleep quality is not disrupted.
mm.
It's only disrupted when we awake and then we couldn't sleep back
Yeah.
even more than 15 minutes. Then I would say that the quality is disrupted, is in fact disrupted. Uh-huh. Okay, so if the patient can actually sleep back, then I would say it's quite okay. It's still manageable.
Okay. So
Okay.
hope we answer your questions, and we come to the last questions for today's
Mm,
webinar. Okay. I heard about melatonin supplements and people are buying them from pharmacies to have better sleep. And what are the functions of this supplement and what are the benefits?
mm, 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 mm.
Okay.
Right.
So to be honest, today I learned from Jefferson about melatonin supplements. That I was thinking of actually it's quite different. Sleeping pills and melatonin supplement is two different
Mm,
things,
mm,
right?
mm.
Yeah. So Jefferson, you want to add on with the point
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
explained to me in the morning?
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yes. Actually, melatonin supplement now has began, I wouldn't say like a trend. The craze has coming up like, where people actually
Mm,
start to buy melatonin supplement as a form to help to induce sleep. So the function as a supplement is that when you feel like your body does not produce enough melatonin, which in
mm,
fact our body will produce enough melatonin.
mm,
So unlike like vitamins, right? Because vitamin is that something you need to eat it. It's not that our
mm,
body will produce vitamin ourselves. So vitamin comes from like the things you eat. So if you didn't get enough vitamins, you need to take the supplement. But for
mm,
melatonin, our body will eventually produce the sufficient melatonin to sleep. So
mm,
the function of this supplement, I would say, I wouldn't, say in a very medical way because I'm not a pharmacist, I'm not in the medical
mm,
side. But from my understanding is that the benefit of it will help to definitely it will help to induce sleep, but always go back to the information that our body will produce enough melatonin itself.
mm,
So if you feel like you need a supplement,
mm,
still again go back to your physician, your medical opinion about it before taking it. And of course, as we know how supplement may overdose of vitamin may have some effect in our body. Same, I would say, same goes to melatonin. So always go
mm.
back to medical opinion in this.
Yep. So do you mean that eating the melatonin supplements will
Mm-mm,
help our melatonin level to increase, and then it
mm-mm,
put us into a like a quiet wakefulness that help us to promote to sleep?
mm-mm. I would say it will, because that's the
Mm,
function of a melatonin, right? It
mm,
definitely will. Yeah, so it definitely will increase. It will help to induce sleep lah.
mm,
So I would say, but
mm,
it's quite different from sleeping pills. Because
mm,
sleeping pill involve a different chemical in our
mm.
body than melatonin.
Yeah,
That's what it's
and
about health. Mhm.
yeah, and I think I do agree what Jefferson mentions that melatonin supplements normally you can buy from pharmacies
Mm.
or any carrying
You can
stores
even
and
buy
all that.
online now, actually. I
Yeah.
found
Oh,
like people
really?
selling it on Shopee.
Oh, but sleeping pills normally is prescribed by
Mm.
doctors or
Mm.
psychiatrists. So here is
Yes,
the
yes.
difference.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Okay, so that's all for our
Yeah,
sessions
I think that's
webinar
all
today.
from the question as well.
Yes, our last question just now. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for coming to our webinar
Mm.
and to learn about this sleep topic. And we hope today you all have a fruitful sessions. And later after your session, you all can go to sleep just like me, planning to sleep after this webinar also. Yeah, so I hope you all have a nice day and thank you so much for coming. Jefferson, you have
Right.
something to add on before we
Yeah,
start?
I think that's about it. Like how Kaya has wrapped. Just after this, get a good night's sleep. Make use of the
Mm.
tips that Kaya has shared. Kaya, please make use of the tip for yourself as well.
Yep.
Get a better sleep. Okay,
Yep, I
so
need it.
right, so thank you everyone for your time joining us today. And of course, if you any feedbacks that you would like us to improve on or any topics that you wish to get more in the future, do drop us a comment and we'll
Mm.
see how we can provide to you. We're always free
Yep.
to give more contents for the people, right?
Yep. And stay tuned to our next webinar,
Yes,
Gateway
yes,
to a
yes,
Better
yes.
Mental Health. Okay.
Mm. There
Thank
will
you
be
so
an
much.
interesting webinar coming up. So, right. Thank you so
Yep.
much, everyone.
Have a good
Okay, bye.
night.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. Good night, everyone.